We have a special guest here today.
We do.
If you're watching.
She's eating her binky. We have a new parlor trick where we can actually put it in our mouth now. Wow. Sometimes it's upside down.
She's very aware of her face today.
100%
now. Yeah, we're talking about you, girly. What you gonna say?
Say, I'm getting a phone call, bitches. So
she's camera shy right now. Anyway, if you're not watching, we're talking about Leah, of course.
She's in the background.
You'll probably hear her.
You will.
We're like watching her like through, making sure she's good. Don't worry. And there's her
phone.
Anyway,
interactive. I was gonna say touch point. That's from the meetings that I've had all morning. Interactive podcast this morning.
Yes. Oh my god. And Blue is on in the background.
Yeah, we have a lot going on here today. We're also recording weirdly midday.
Yes, it's 12. It's also Halloween.
Yes,
it is. It's Halloween. And I really don't even know.
Me either. We're like all sorts of just out of whack.
I mean, I am getting blood work Thursday. I'm pretty sure I'm in desperate need of
iron. Life.
Yeah.
Blood. You good, girl?
Yeah, she's agreeing. She says you are in need of desperate iron and blood, and TT, and ain't that the truth? So yes, we're just here to spill some tea.
Yeah, talk about what we've been reading, which we've both been like, you've obviously been reading more, but like kind of both lacking this month.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, let me see. I am at, for the year, 179.
Oh, what am I at? Let me see.
And that's ahead of my reading goal by 13 books.
Mm.
But I'm trying to read less. And November, I'm going away for 4 days. So I feel like I'm not going to read. And I'm also doing the tandem read of Empire Storms and Tower of Dawn, which is going to take me some time. So I feel like I may only get like 10 books done.
We'll see.
I'm trying to keep November to 10. I mean, I feel like if I do audiobooks, then like I'll definitely surpass 10. But I'm trying to not.
It's really hard when you are awake. 'Cause like when I was in Italy, I read only at night, obviously, and like sometimes you're just tired, so you pass right out. Sometimes you get in late, so obviously you're not picking up a book.
Yeah.
I think I only read 3 in total, and one was because the flight home is 9.5 hours from Venice, and I had nothing to do but read, watch a movie, and whatever. And I just was like, let me just read until I finish this, I guess, and then we'll see how much time's left. Right, Jack? Yeah.
No, and I'll be with my sister-in-law Erica. So I feel like there's not going to be a lot of time for
you
me
guys
to
like,
sit down
have
and
so
read.
many activities to do.
And like when our favorite thing to do is watch really, really bad movies and like TV shows. So I feel like even at night, like if we're not doing anything, like we're gonna like go home and either like pass right out and or throw on like some really terrible
TV
movie
or movies,
to watch and like make fun of it. So so I'm debating if I want to try to start the tandem read before or after, but I think after, because next week Iron Flame comes out, so I don't want to start before then, obviously. And I don't even know what my computer's doing anyway, so I don't want to start before then because I won't be able to finish by next week. And I feel like if I start after, that's kind of like then I'd have to rush before going away on the 16th.
And you don't want to rush.
So I feel like I'll probably start the tandem read. I know there's a lot going on, girly, and I don't know what to do. I will say that, okay, so today is the 31st. We just had Halloween, and the Graham Effect came out today. And I've read 2 chapters so far.
You're crazy.
I like just went to Barnes & Noble and picked it up.
Are the 2 chapters decent?
No, like they're so good already.
Okay.
Like I'm like already like smiling and like giggling. Like literally nothing's happened, but just like the mention of Garrett Graham
has you just tingling.
Like
from your butt to your
head. Like literally like I was gonna say from my head to like my butthole. And there's like Jake Connolly's mentioned, and I just am like I'm like living already for the little cameos that we're getting. And on top of that, I just like love Elle Kennedy. Like she's like an author to me who like, do I think her writing is good? No, I don't think it's bad, but like I'm not like, oh my god, she's a phenomenal writer, but I love her books. Like I think they're just so fun and like the perfect amount of spicy. Leah also agrees. Don't judge us that we let her read those books at her young age. But yeah, so I mean, so far I'm really enjoying that. And then we were just talking about it, but okay, so I'm like a very big fan of the Cruel Prince trilogy. And like so much so that I read the entire third book on our flight to Colorado for Katie's bachelorette party. And I made Katie read the first book and she was like, no, I didn't like it. But honestly, you know what I think? I think it was like early on in our reading journey.
Yes.
And it's more of like there's more of like a political plot than there is a romance. So I think that like what you didn't like about it was probably that.
Probably. I also I think I had more of an issue, shocking, with the female main character. Shocking. And I was just telling this to Teresa because I had this issue with Bridge Kingdom also. I had a problem with the female main character and her stubbornness.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was just, I understand why it was the way it was, but like, I didn't like it. So, but both books, though I did not continue on in the series until recently with Bridge Kingdom, they are very adamantly, like, in my mind, I can recall detail from them, which I think is kind of funny because I chose not to continue with either.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think it was very, like, right at the beginning. I think I was expecting something completely different.
Yeah. But because everybody was like, oh, the Cruel Prince, like, they make it seem like it's this, like, fantasy romance. And yes, of course, there is romance in it. Like, I love Carden and Jude. But
I'm glad we're talking about this.
It's not, it doesn't center, like, the romance is a subplot. It's almost, it's nothing like Throne of Glass, but like Throne of Glass to me is not a fantasy romance.
No, it's
because
just
the romance is
book.
a subplot. Like, it's more about the plot of the book than it is about the romance. Where like ACOTAR is more focused on the romance than the plot.
And you know what I think kind of stinks about that too? Like, kind of going back off that, like, and again, this could just be the niche we've ended up in, like, and what we're seeing on our feeds. But I feel like a lot of books get pushed because of a romance plot, even though it's a subplot, because people don't want to read a book without the romance. And again, like, we are romance girlies. We like the relationship, we like the spice. Like, contemporary romance is one of our, it's literally a top favorite genre of ours, along with fantasies. But I will say, like, I feel like sometimes it can be misleading as the reader when you see posts about these fantasy romances. And again, I'm a girl who likes a spoiler, but like sometimes, like, I just want to read a brief synopsis, be like, okay, this sounds like it's right up my alley, let me go for it. And then you're kind of in the book and you're like, hold on, wait, this is nothing what I thought it was because of how it was pitched to me.
Yes. And like specifically with the Cruel Prince, I feel like people, like, they pull quotes and they're always like a Carden or Jude quote, which again, understandable, but it kind of just gives like I think it gives people like the wrong idea of what the book is about, or what the series is about. So like going in, if like you're expecting this like big like bully like romance or like whatever, like, I mean, it is enemies to lovers, but again, it's just like not the main focus.
Yeah. And again, like, don't get me wrong, like, we post, I think I post quotes a bit more than you do probably. And I will
No, I mean, yeah, everybody does it. I just think it,
but I try to only do it for like Elsie Silver books.
Yeah.
I'll pull the spicier quotes because you know what? At the end of the day, you know what you're getting into with that book. It's a contemporary, like, fun romance book. Like, there is some spice sprinkled in really nicely. Yeah. I'm not trying to mislead. So if I ever do, please let us know. Like, I'm sorry. But like, I try to, with the fantasy romance books, never pull quotes because A, spoilers, and people get offended with spoilers, and two, some of the, besides like ACOTARs, like those kind of fantasy romances, like a lot of the fantasy books we read don't have these crazy big spicy romance scenes that people want.
No,
so we don't pull the quotes.
Well, that's like, I mean, like, obviously I'm like very deep into my Throne of Glass reread, and so like now like Throne of Glass is like coming up a lot on my FYP. And like specifically Dorian, because I post about Dorian and I talk about him all the time because I love him so much. But yeah, there's like, I mean, like, there's the quote when Dorian, spoiler for Throne of Glass, when he has, when he's wearing like the Wordstone collar and Manon's like able to kind of break through to him like a little bit, and she's like, what color do you bleed? And he's like, whatever color like you tell me to, or like whatever.
That's cute.
And like, no, but that's great. But like, if you're only reading the book for like that, then like you are just like, you don't know what you're in for. Like, you don't know what you're in for.
Agreed.
So I feel like quotes like that are like fun for people who have already read the books and like know what's going on. But if you're picking up a book for the like, Throne of Glass for the first time based on that quote alone, you don't realize what you're getting into.
You have no idea.
No. And it's the same thing. I'm trying to think. Oh, like Shatter Me. Okay. The Shatter Me series. What's the third book? Ignite Me? I think so. Sorry.
I don't know.
It's been a while since I read them. I think it's Shatter Me, Unravel Me, and Ignite Me. But anyway, Warner, he like when him and Juliet like finally like give in. Again, it's YA, so there's like no spice. But at one point he says like lift your hips for me, love, and then like it kind of like fades to black.
But again, like
people use that quote a lot. And again, it's
ignite
me, yeah. And like again, like having read it, like when I see like videos like with that quote, I'm like, oh my god, yes, like I love it. But at the same time, it's like you're just picking up that series because of that one quote. You're gonna be disappointed because one, it's not spicy. Two, it's like such like a minor, like that scene is like so minor and like.
And again, this is zero disrespect to people that do it because I get it. Like it's a oh my god, like a toe curling moment.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's also kind of doing the series disservice because that's not what it's about.
No.
And again, I'm here for it because I'm here for it because I like it. I do that shit too. Like we love it.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that we do it too. I'm just saying like I think that a lot of series people go. I like going in blind. So like if I see one out of context quote and I start reading something and it's not what I was expecting, it doesn't bother me. But I think like when people read an out of context quote and they don't know anything else about the story and they're like this like one quote in like an 8-book series. And they think that they're getting into something that they're not. Or like even like, I don't know, cool prints like with certain things. Like I think in those scenarios it like does the series a disservice. Because the series, I love it.
I also think this is let's be honest here. I also think this is a me issue because I have no problem not continuing on a series or giving a second book a chance.
Yeah.
That's a straight up, I'm raising my hand, that's a me issue. And again, like kind of early on into book talk, like I'm also of sound mind where like to me, like if I didn't connect with book one, like I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like too many books, too little time. But in the instance of like, hey, like I like especially because like you know what I like and don't like.
Yeah.
So when you're like, hey, no, I really think you're gonna like it. Even with like Bridge I'm like I liked book 2 a lot. So
yeah. And I think you're gonna love the next two because like Karis,
I know.
Karis and Zara, I love so much more than Laura and Aaron.
I took a 7-second break from that series because with this tomorrow, November. When November's episodes start coming out, we are doing A Curse for True Love, The Graham Effect, and then Iron Flame. So I was like, there's some things I need to get there. So I was like, let me start listening to A Curse of True Love, which is phenomenal.
It's so good. I love that series. And I want to talk about that. I know we'll get into it more in our episode about it, but I just have a disclaimer to say because I saw like a lot of like negative reviews.
Yeah, you said that.
On TikTok early. Like I think it was like people like, binged it and it was like the day that like it came out or like the next day. And I hadn't finished it yet, so I saved them because I was like, I want to go back and see. I like getting other people's point of views.
Absolutely.
And the negative reviews that I was seeing, and like one girl actually like admitted to it, which I like really liked. She was like, I've had, and I hope that this doesn't happen with Flame and Shadow. I feel like there's so many people who search for Easter eggs and have these fan theories, and they're theories. And a lot of the times, like these authors, that's like not their intent.
No.
Like they're just like writing like fun,
like SJM intent. Like yes,
but again, like people are creating fan theories on SJM because they're like, and like a lot of the time, like it's just a coincidence or like it really doesn't mean anything. But they get their hopes up thinking that like the story is going to evolve this way. Yeah, that the story is going to evolve a certain way based on like a fan theory that they saw or based on like one sentence from like the first book that they think is going to allude to something in the final book. So people who were disappointed in A Curse for True Love, a lot of the reviews that I saw in the beginning were people who were like upset that it didn't play out the way that they were theorizing it would. And one of the girls even said, she was like, I feel like I did myself in the series a disservice by like being so involved in like the fan theories that like the way that Stephanie wrote the story makes sense, but I was expecting more because I have been like so deep in like a theory hole.
I mean, I think it's
where like I didn't theorize at all.
No, same. I'm just here for good times.
Yeah. And like I saw like a review too being like this book again, no spoilers, but like people were being like, oh, like this series is about Jax and it's about his love story. And like in no way, shape, or form has this series been obviously Jax is the main character.
Yeah.
But this series has always been about Evangeline. Everything is from her POV. Like,
yes,
this has always been Evangeline's story.
Yeah.
And like Jax is a great male main character, but like he is a sub character to her story.
Agreed.
And it's always been about like her development and like her, yeah.
You know what I also like, and again, we won't harp
No,
because
yeah,
we have
we're
a
gonna
whole
episode
series,
to talk
but
about.
like a lot of YA tends to have love triangles.
Yes.
I don't know if you would constitute what's occurring as a love triangle.
I feel like no, because
Thank you.
yeah.
So, and you know what? I have to say, I really liked the way this is playing out for book 3.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like, I don't know. We'll talk more about it.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it. Yeah, because I have like a lot. I have a lot to say about it, but like not in a bad way. I gave it 4.5 stars. There's only like a few things that I was like a little disappointed in, but like not enough for me to be like, oh, like I didn't like the series, because I still love the series. And if you haven't read the series, it's Once Upon a Broken Heart, Stephanie Garber, amazing. Also her Caraval series, obsessed
fucking
with.
phenomenal.
I actually read 2 arcs, and I want to talk about. I'll talk about one of them now, and then I'll talk about the one that I'm really excited about after. But Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. So it comes out in March 12th. And it's basically about, okay, so this girl's getting married, and they hire this guy to come object to the wedding.
She's having the best day.
She's like, I cannot believe that they hired some man to come object to her wedding. I know. Yeah, she has her book.
She has a book.
You're doing a great job, you little pumpkin. Okay, so this girl's getting married. Her fiance is like cheating, like has cheated on her. She can't like cancel the wedding herself. This is actually my only issue with the entire book, is that like multiple times, like they end up like she gets her wedding objected to, whatever. It comes out that he's cheating, the wedding's called off, whatever. And then a few months like down the road, like the guy who objects to her wedding, he like kind of does it as like a side gig to like help people out. And he asks her for help with a wedding, and she does it, and then they kind of like go to weddings together and like object to them. But it's always like the same thing. It's like somebody's cheating and I have proof that they're cheating, but I can't call off the wedding because like, oh, like she's cheating on me, but like her dad's the mayor, or like he's cheating on me, and like it's always like the same thing. That's where I feel like
freaking annoying.
I just feel like it would have just been funnier if like people were just like too scared to like call off their own weddings and were like hired these 2 people to object to them. That was my only issue with the book. Otherwise, I liked the 2 characters. I thought that they were like very like flawed, but also like lovable. But it was just like a very like solid rom-com. Like
good to have in your back pocket.
Yes. And then I really want to discuss a book that's coming out in May from one of my favorite authors.
I haven't read this yet. I'm very upset.
Ever.
Tara
DeWitt, Savor It is the book. And if you've been here long enough, you know that Funny Feelings literally burn my body with it. Like, I actually mean it when I say that for Funny Feelings. It's like honestly one of my favorite books of all time. Leah agrees, because honestly,
no, it really is phenomenal. Like I would agree. Like I know you're like that's your Roman Empire, if you will.
Yeah.
However, like I'm not saying that it's not mine either. I think I'm just as obsessed. I think this is just like one of those things that like I let you take the cake with it, because it's like no, like 100%. But like no, agreed. Like this was. I don't. When people rate it below 5 stars, I'm very confused.
Yeah, like I've seen like I love to do this thing where I go on Goodreads and I'm like, what books do I love? And I like to read like bad reviews. And I legitimately like I don't understand how anybody can like say one bad thing about.
Agreed. It's a really good book.
No, it's amazing. Honestly, like her writing in general is, I think, some of like I like don't love comparing. We always say this, but we always do it. But like she gives like Emily Henry vibes.
Yes.
And a little bit kind of too like Abby Jimenez, where like they're funny, but they're also deep. And there's like a lot more like going on than like what I think meets the eye when you first like look at the covers or anything. Like they're not, I wouldn't classify her books as rom-coms. I would classify them as like contemporary romance, but like also like a little like literary fiction. And Savor It is her book that's coming out in May. And it's about, it's a small town romance. And it's about this like New York City chef. He's got like multiple Michelin stars, but he's like hit like a lull in his career. And his like business partner, I guess you would call her, she's opening up a new restaurant out in Oregon, and she basically sends him out there. She's like, all right, like, you need a break. Go out there and like figure out like what kind of menu we should have at this restaurant, like when we open it. And then once you do that, like spend all summer there, figure out the menu, whatever, and then you can come back to New York. I'll give you your job back, and like all is well. Except he also has a 15-year-old niece who he's now taking care of because his sister unfortunately died in a car accident 3 years earlier. And Sage, the female main character, her parents both died when she was young, so she was raised by her older brother. She has like 3 older brothers, but she like, you know, the oldest one, he was 18 I think when the father passed, and he kind of like took on like that role. But she lives in the house that she grew up in, and she like takes in all these like abandoned animals. So she has like geese and a dog and like a 3-legged cat and like a horse, like all these different things. And she's kind of just like the town, like I don't even know how to explain her, because I don't want to be like, oh, like she just does things for people. Like she always wants to be like loved and like useful.
Oh, that's sweet.
And he, Fisher is the chef. He is renting the house next door to her.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, yeah, and like okay, if you hate the miscommunication trope, then you will love this book, because like the communication between these two people is amazing.
Oh, fantastic. So I was like, fuck.
Like it is so like mature. Like
okay.
They are just so like, he says something that bothers her. Like he makes like a little joke, but it's a joke that like hits home for her because her ex like used to always like say these things about her. And like instead of like letting it stew and kind of like being like a brat and like be causing like this like big rift, she kind of like gets annoyed. He's like, what happened? And then she tells him, and he's like, oh my God, like literally not my intention. Like I love how your brain works. Like I meant it as like a compliment, actually, blah blah blah. And like that's kind of how it goes. Like they both are very like open and like about like their traumas and like everything they're going through, and it's like, so like they're healing together. And it's just, I love
that for you.
I love that for us.
I'm so upset because like I know it delivered.
Yeah.
And so because I'm reading, it's in preparation for a second book that we're being sent.
Yes.
And it's funny because I feel like I've seen this before, the series, but like never really thought to pick it up. The Luminaires by Susan Dennard. And again, like it's rated 3.7 on Goodreads, and I just like don't understand why. It is YA.
I think 3.7 though isn't bad for a YA.
It's like it's described as like a haunting contemporary fantasy about magic. It takes place in like a nightmare-filled forest, and essentially this one girl, our female main character, which, you know, it's sick and twisted, Winnie, her and her family are labeled as outcasts because their dad was found to be like a rival family, magical family, whatever, and he was spying on them. Mind you, their last names are all the days of the week, and like there's different groups of them, and like what their capabilities are. They're hunters, like they find like mystical creatures. So because they're outcasts, no one can talk to them for 10 years. Like they are literally like just ignored. So Winnie wants to enter to be a hunter, and you can on your 16th birthday. To try to one, live out her dreams, but 2, like kind of get her family back into good graces, because it's already been 4 years into the 10-year span, and like it's just not happening. Like she's an outcast at school. Her brother can't get like good jobs. Her mom was basically demoted out of her hunting position and like has to pick up like waitressing jobs. Obviously their dad's not in the picture anymore. However, what I like about this too, I think it's a really good steady plot to follow. Like it's well paced, but you kind of pick up on little things of like, that just doesn't seem right. Like there's like something fishy. Like now there's like talk of like a locket that she was given for her birthday gift by her brother. Like I don't know, like Susan writes it very well, where like you could almost totally miss those speed humps, but also be like, hold on, wait a minute, you keep bringing this up, like something doesn't, like even the dad, like being, I'm almost done with it, I'm like 70% into it, and it's relatively short. It's 294 pages. I don't know, like it just, I'm like, hold on a second, like something's up with the dad. Like we're not getting the full story yet. So I'm very excited because we're being sent book 2, so I want to read it in preparation for book 1. But that's also when we got sent Savor It. So I was like, oh my God, like I have a few things to get to. And we were also sent Remedial Magic, and I'm the witch guru of the group.
Yes, you are.
So I'm going to be reading that as well. So Savor It's like number 4 on the list at this point. Then by the time like I get through all of this, Iron Flame's going to be here, and that takes priority.
And Savor doesn't come out until May, so you do have time to read it. It's not like you have to prioritize it because it's like coming out like next week. where like some of these other arcs that we've been sent are coming out
soon. Yes, you got to learn to like prioritize. Yeah. Plus, I started Throne of the Fallen and stopped because of all the arcs that we were getting. So I have to go back. Thank God I was not far into that one. But that's very high on my TBR. I just really like Harry Maniscalco. I feel it's funny. Like, I'm not saying I was the one who discovered her, because by no means I was not. But like so long ago, I'm a James Patterson fan. Yes. And like when I was younger, like I read Nora Roberts, Heather Graham, James Patterson books. And I'll never forget, I was walking in Barnes & Noble and I saw James Patterson Presents on the cover, and it was of Carrie Maniscalco's book. It was Jack the Ripper. Yes. Stalking Jack the Ripper. I was instantaneously in love. So I just feel like I've been reading you since I was 16. So major fan. Yeah. It's like I just can't wait to get to this. Plus I love the
I know, I bought series. I bought it like 2 weeks ago.
It's a really pretty cover.
It's a really pretty cover. The Barnes & Noble exclusive is like really pretty too, which is the one that I got. And I really want to read it. But again, yeah, like there's just like a lot more that I have to get through.
I also heard the audio was phenomenal, like beyond phenomenal. Someone said it was like one of their top favorite audios ever. Leah's hyping that one up. So
she said, "I agree. I've been listening to Throne of the Fallen on audio while you've been sleeping, Mom."
It's crazy what she can understand. I didn't even realize she was getting up so late at night to like steal my headphones and listen to my Audible account. Are those where all my credits are going, girl?
That's where all the credits are going.
She's so in her feels right now of hanging out with Minnie. She's normally not home with us on a weekday. She's always at either my parents or my husband's parents. But because it's Halloween, we're like, we'll just keep her home because we're gonna like call it like an earlier day, like head out, take her around town. There's also a little puppy walking on the street right now in a pumpkin costume, it looks like.
Yep, I see
that. She's gonna be Wednesday Addams, so she's gonna get dressed in about an hour.
And she's gonna look so pretty.
Duh.
Yeah.
So hopefully this audio isn't annoying. Sorry. The baby screaming in the background.
And it's like me like baby talking her the whole time.
She's just chatting. She's got a lot to say. She has a lot of feelings, a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, she's spilling her tea.
She is spilling her tea.
She has her little book, Trick or Treat Little Pumpkin. And she wanted us to like let you know that tonight's the night.
Yeah.
And we can dance along with skeletons and then shout boo. What a fright.
Does Auntie TT have your book?
It's a little phallic.
I know.
You girly. Is that all you're reading?
Yeah, so I'm finished up with the Lunaires. It's just one of those. It's like one of those months where I just can't get through a book right now, and not because I don't like it. Just it's taking some time. So Luminaires, and I'm listening to A Curse for True Love.
Yeah,
I think I have 2 hours left. 2 hours left.
I can't wait to discuss that in depth.
Same. I'm very excited. I'm hopeful to finish it tomorrow. Yeah. I've been listening a little bit more because I've been running a bit more. So as my runs increase, my listening time increases.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. Plus I have to go pick up that chicken nugget tomorrow. So listening in the car, on a run, and then home.
Yeah.
And yes, my child does listen to my audiobooks. Not spicy ones.
I mean, she doesn't understand.
She has no fucking clue.
Human language yet.
So she's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, vocabulary.
In like a year, maybe no spicy.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's the
only repeating some like this.
She's just, her first word is just like cock.
What does a velvet cock mean, Mom?
What does velvet wrap steel mean, Mommy?
Yeah. She also is eating her toes now. That's another power trick of ours.
Same. I've been eating my toes for 34 years.
That's disgusting, Teresa Murray.
I'm just kidding.
So yeah, that's all I'm honestly reading. Next up for me is going to be Remedial Magic, which we were also given, followed by book 2 of the Luminaire series, whenever that does get delivered.
And Iron Flame.
And Iron Flame takes priority.
Yes.
So this actually comes out November 7th. So I'll have to figure out how to prioritize things really quickly.
Well, Iron Flame, I think, takes priority.
100%. But I will see when this gets delivered to it. Oh, it's only 272 pages.
Oh, that's like...
Sold.
Yeah.
You're fine.
She's like, everybody's not paying attention to me. Yeah, I'm going to finish The Graham Effect. Probably this week. This weekend... I don't know, I'm kind of busy this weekend, actually.
Same. I have 2 baby showers back to back.
I'm going to Bacon Fest in Easton, PA.
Did you go to this last year?
I was supposed to go last year. I went like 2 years ago. Our like really good family friends live there. And I'm going with them and my mom. And then Sunday I have my friend's baby shower.
So many baby showers.
So many babies are coming. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to read after the Graham Effect, actually. I feel like I have things that I want to read. Oh, I want to read Lessons in Chemistry because the TV show is out and I don't want to watch it before I've read the book. So I want to do the Graham Effect, Lessons in Chemistry, then Iron Flame next week, and then from there I don't know. We'll figure it out. But next week's episode is A Curse for True Love. Then the following week we'll do like a little bit Spilling the Tea in the beginning, and then the Graham Effect.
Did that come out on audio?
Yeah, it did. It dropped today as well.
Oh, fantastic.
And then we will do Iron Flame at the end of the month to give everybody some time to read it because we know that not everybody is psychotic like we are. And then we're pretty much like in December. So
it's honestly disgusting. Teddy Hamilton, say no more. I'll be listening to this.
Yeah. Honestly, wait, okay. Before I actually let you guys go, speaking of Teddy Hamilton, so Megan Quinn, her Vancouver Agitator series, Right Man, Right Time, we read that last year or earlier this year, and we interviewed her. Yeah. So the next book in the series is coming out. I actually really like that series. I'm like very picky about hockey romances. I don't think they're great as far as like, oh, like this is pretty authentic hockey. I just think that they're just like fun enough and entertaining. To like not be taken very seriously. Anyway, so the next book is coming out, I think this month.
Okay.
And it's like a character that I've wanted to get his book, but on her TikTok yesterday, she was like, oh, like, let's like look at the cast, like who's going to be doing the audio. And like, so like everybody else from like the previous 3 books are like reprising their roles as the characters.
Shut up. That's
so like
so
Teddy,
cool.
Oh, yes, Leah. So like Teddy Hamilton will be playing like the character that he was in book 2. And like,
that's so cool.
So yeah, so like there's 2 new narrators who are doing the 2 new characters, but like the narrators from the previous 3 books are going to like do their own line. So it's going to be like a duet narration, but with like multiple people, like a cast.
That is really cool.
So like I'm not going to read it. I'm going to.
You have to listen to it.
Yeah, because I feel like it's just going to be amazing. So if you've read any of her Agitators books, and you're an audio fan, like keep your eyes and ears out for that one. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Happy Halloween. I hope that you all are in sugar comas. And Katie.
I keep trying to spill in my water.
Time to say bye.
Bye. Just